Good afternoon, everybody. It is Sunday, March 31st, 2019. It is the last day of March. Um, and I'm coming to you, Baroness Machiavelli from beautiful Southwest Florida. I love it here. Most people that are typical Northerners just like to call themselves snowbirds and come down here when the northern part of the country in the Midwest is getting plummeted with snow and ice and cold. But I love this setting here all year round. It keeps threatening us with rain, guys, but we really haven't had any, and I'm wanting to get some because it kind of makes the flies less prominent when you're wanting to sit out. I'm on my front porch. It's not screened in like my back lanai, but I love the view here. We're kind of secluded, as you can see. We've got nobody in front of us for quite a ways, or on either side of us, or in back of us, and I like it like that. Um, my little grandson left, and we're trying to start landscaping a little bit, doing a little bit of gardening. You can't tell to look at it, but and where that sandy patch is in front of the palm trees here, I've planted, or rather, my daughter-in-law has planted some sunflowers. And we had some English lavender, which I love. We had some wind a few weeks back, and it kind of got beat up. But I'm hoping that it will heal up. Coming to you today for a very specific reason, and I am um, a very young, middle-aged person. um, and I am very old school, but I'm coming to you guys today with an observation. I got out quite early to go to a few places. I wanted to go first to Panera Bread because I wanted to use a gift card that I had been given, and I had been carrying it around for a while. And I needed to go and pick my Kathy's prescription up and get a few things at the grocery. But on my many travels today, I noticed um, something as I was out stimulating or trying to stimulate the local economy, and that is how dummied down young people are, and how dummied down they're getting. They're just absolutely people. I'm telling you right now, they're not getting a good public education anymore. And I almost wonder at anybody who sends their children on to university, at least in this country, because I know that after I retired out of the airlines, I decided to go back and get an associate's degree in paralegal studies, which I did at Brown Mackie College in northern Kentucky. That's when I was up north. And I was just shocked when I went there because I feel like it was a real waste of my money, having to pay back a student loan and being strapped with debt. And um, I think that I gave the instructors, who were almost always my junior, and the people around me, more of an education than I received. That said, um, when I went to Panera Bread, I had asked the young lady, my sister, she loves She loves the cinnamon crunch bagels and their honey nut, or not honey nut, their hazelnut cream cheese. So we go in there, and they actually, and it had been a long time, guys, since I had been in a Panera, and I know that they're doing this in quite a lot of places all over the country, and I'm sure the world, where when we went in there, there were like 10 computers lined up. And if you guys have been anywhere, like you can even go into certain restaurants and there are little handheld computers sitting on tables where you can um, initiate an order. And because I am so old school and I like to keep people employed, I went up to the register versus I started to go to one of their little kiosks that were lined up there, but I decided not to, and I went to the counter at the bakery because I really was only wanting to get bakery goods. And it used to be that when you went there, I wanted to get some of my chicken salad too, because you used to be able to buy a tub of their California pecan chicken salad, but you can't do that anymore. You have to get it on a sandwich. But um, I digress, as always. But when I went there, I asked the little gal, I said, could you please um, give me a baker's dozen of the cinnamon um, crunch bagels sliced? And then I said, no, 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 wait a minute. Not a dozen, just give me a half a dozen because I had been standing there eyeing their cheese Danish and I decided to get a cream cheese muffin. So I said, just give us a half a dozen of the cinnamon crunch bagels sliced. And she kept asking me, she said, a half a dozen. I said, yeah, a half a dozen. And so she's taking my order and I'm looking at the price because I had a $25 gift card and I was really just going in there to use it. So I really didn't want to exceed the amount of the gift card. And I got it up to like $20 and gave the rest of it to her in a tip. And as she's giving me my order back, she said, they're going to call your name. And I thought, why would they call my name when I'm getting everything at the bakery? And so, first off, she didn't understand that I thought I was getting the chicken salad in a tub. But I am convinced that she had no clue what a half a dozen was. And I probably would have, I probably really threw her off with a baker's dozen. And the thing, guys, that is so crazy about that is that you're in Panera Bread, a bakery. It's a restaurant that's known for their bakery goods. You don't know what a dozen or a half a dozen is, or as it used to be called, the baker's dozen, or whatever you call it. That's what my old granny used to call it. So that's what I say. But here nor there, I'm convinced because I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, this influx of people come in behind us because when we first got there to the restaurant, again, I digress, there was hardly anybody there. But by the time my sister and I paid, we were standing around. We had gotten our, coffee and tea, and I'm thinking, when are they going to call my name? Because I saw some lady there who I think now was the manager, so I probably should have asked her something. I said, it's been a while, since I've been in a Panera. Just because when I lived in Virginia, there was a Panera there, but they were like way far away. And anyhow, I never went there. So it had been a while. It'd been like, I don't know, what, maybe 5 years since I'd been in a Panera, literally. And I love Panera. But you can buy a lot of their stuff at BJ's, and I'm a member at BJ's. But again, I digress. Um, but anyway, I went over to her and I'm like, first of all, are they going to call our name? I haven't been here in a while. And she said, yeah, that's the window down there by the deli. And apparently they had been calling my name, and neither one of Kathy nor myself heard our names called, first off. But then when I got down there, I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on, but this girl only gave us one bagel. So I asked for a half a dozen bagels, and she ended up giving me one bagel. And, like the whole order was wrong. And what's so sad about it is, guys, is that I was standing there for quite a bit of time having a discussion with her just because it had been a while since I had been in Panera. And we've got a culmination of things going on here. One, people are being so dummied down that they're hardly functioning. And not to digress again, but like I made an order with Domino's for our dinner because I've been lazy the last few days. I haven't been filling up to snuff this past week, so we've been getting a lot of takeaway. But every time I've ordered from them, like the last 5 times, like our orders were like totally messed up. And I'm convinced that people don't read well. I'm convinced that their communication skills are almost zero, just almost nil. Um, they are taught, or at least, the government and, the powers that be behind the higher um, education system in this nation feel like they're at least teaching them enough to get by and to function like good, obedient, mind numb robots, but um, they're not. I got news for you. They're not. Their communication skills are horrible. You can talk very plain English, and look, I'm an American, but I talk the King's English or the Queen's English, if you want to say Queen. Um, but anyway, I speak plain English, and they don't get it. They don't get it, and it's so very sad. Um, and I noticed the registers had pictures. It's almost like this is what people are going to order, like almost 99.97% of the time. Key in, buy the photographs, and follow the prompts. But if you go outside of that realm and you say something that's not pictured, that they can't just plop their finger on, it throws them all off. Or if you say anything like I did today, like a half a dozen, or at first a baker's dozen. Um, so I was just like really saddened. I was going to say disappointed. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And it gives me even more of an urgency to want to try to make sure that I supplement my grandchildren's education. My children were homeschooled for a few years before I did send them off to hell. That's what I call the public school systems. But they knew enough, and they had a mother who was always active. And the PTA hated me, guys. Like every time they had a meeting or a school board meeting, they saw me coming around the corner and they wanted to put the garlic out like I was Dracula. But yeah, you need to pay attention to any children that you've got now that are preteen, teenagers, and anywhere from kindergarten to high school to 12th grade, because they're not getting the same education that we received. And I was lucky. I mean, they were starting to screw around with the education system back even when I was a kid in school, some 50 years ago. But, I was lucky to, I came from a pretty well off family, and we had like a private school education, but I know everybody was not that fortunate. But I also noticed the same thing at Kroger, not Kroger, Walmart, when we went there. It's like they can't count change back from a dollar. I mean, like if there's anything wrong with the register, um, they're having like a really hard time counting change back from a dollar. And it's sad, guys. It is so sad. But anyway, that is what I wanted to share with you today. It's really something that we all really need. Those of us that are awake and aware, we need to start trying to do something about it wherever our scope of influence is able to do something about it, because it's a problem. And it's just so sad. And I didn't say anything. I debated, should I call this manager up? Because I really want to call the manager up, because, when you're spending your money, you want to get what you're spending your money for. And when it's not right and they're not getting it right, you want it right. But at the same time, I don't want to get that little girl in trouble. She might really need that job to help with school, or even with school and her family. Yeah. I didn't want to get her in trouble because she was such a sweetheart, but she just was dumb as a rock. I mean, as she was 4 sandwiches short of a picnic, bless her bones. But anyway, that is my rant today. I hope you all have enjoyed the sunny South Florida weather, and also listening. Thank you to listening to um, my opine. And I hope this video finds each and every one of you blessed. God bless you all and your family. And I pray for everyone that watches this video. And I thank you and have a great day. Over and out.